It is my honor and pleasure to bring to you in this episode a Bass Family Portraits, the great Maurice Verloop. Um, as many of you know, I used to teach and be on staff at Musicians Institute. And when you leave, you're always part of the family and you're always checking in. People are always checking in with you. And after leaving, I started hearing from the staff there that there was this great person, Maurice Verloop, who had come in and was just amazing with students, an amazing player, a really good communicator, just the whole package. And I was very intrigued and was hoping to meet him someday. And that day happened at a NAMM show. Maurice came into the booth. I saw his name badge, and within moments of talking to him, I knew everything that people told me about him was true. So when I decided to put together the panel for Bass Family Chat, I knew I wanted to include Maurice. There's just no way I could leave out someone with his amount of experience as a player, as a teacher, what a great communicator he is, and just a wonderful person. So in this episode of Bass Family Portrait, you're going to learn a little bit more about his background, his view on things, and realize just what an important person he is in our family. And I'm really honored to call him my friend. So without any further ado, here's Maurice Verloop.
I started playing bass when I was 15 years old. I had done musical instruments before that. My mom had given me piano lessons. I learned how to play trombone in elementary school through the public school system I was in, and took that to my junior year in high school. So there was my exposure to bass clef. I also tried acoustic guitar lessons too. I don't think I had a very good guitar because I remember that being painful. But my very first musical attraction was my friend had a drum kit at home, and he is actually a pretty good drummer. And I thought that was badass, and I wanted to be a drummer really bad. Unfortunately, my parents did not share that desire with me, and we were not going to have drums in the house. And in their credit, I have to give them props on that, because after working at Musicians Institute, I completely understand that call. Having to hear drums in your house all the time must be pretty nerve-wracking for a parent. But I recognized that there was a need for bass, and I recognized bass in the rock and roll that I was listening to. I graduated high school in '81, so I'm in high school in the late '70s, and this is the birth of Van Halen and that second wave of hard rock, and yeah, it was pretty magical time. But yeah, the bass ended up in my hands, and it was a marriage made in heaven. I'm really glad that happened. The players or the band that inspired me to be a bassist or be a musician, I probably have a common answer for musicians from my generation, but it's Kiss, the band Kiss. I remember seeing them on Don Kirshner's rock concert, and that show was so over the top, and their music was heavy and driving, and I couldn't look away, and it was all I could think about after I saw that. I became a big Kiss collector too, and all that, but I wanted to be them, and bass became the instrument I expressed myself on after that. But that's the group that triggered it for me. I was turned on to music through my brother, who was a record collector, and he is my very first musical inspiration. And through that, I was hearing, a lot of the Stax and Motown players and Paul McCartney, and all that appealed to me. But Kiss and hard rock was my music, and that was the battery that powered it all right there. So don't listen to too much Kiss these days, but that's my ground zero. My very first gig was playing 2 Eric Clapton songs at a school event in my junior high. I believe we had like a talent show or something like that, and we were working up Wonderful Tonight and Cocaine by Eric Clapton, and we practiced in a church, which was kind of weird, being that we were dealing with a song with that subject matter. But really, really romantic memories of those days, just finally getting your instrument and playing with other people, and when it finally comes off, it was just really special. But that was my very first gig, was some school talent show, doing a couple Eric Clapton songs. The reason I went to music school, or BIT specifically, was the fact that this was a player school, and it was, you know, your instructors were professional players that were actually still playing. You weren't getting in that school that had that old retired musician that was, you know, telling you what happened back in the day and things like that. But the initial thing that made me come across the country, because I grew up in Virginia, Washington, D.C. area, was the band that I was in. We were doing hard rock, and it was like the Guns N' Roses, you know, Motley Crue kind of music. And in 91, I believe, 91, 92, Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana is coming out. And this is the song that I credit changed hard rock for what, you know, from what it was before to what it was after. And that changed the scene I was working in, and the schedule and the booking agents that my band was working under. Everything just immediately changed. Clubs went to either a grunge style, they went to DJ and things like that. So the area that I was playing in kind of dried up, or at least in my opinion, and I was ready for change. And that's what triggered me to come out to California. And I came out and tried to get into bands. I think my very first address was in like a San Diego area, but quickly realized that I was a one-trick pony when I came out here, because I was used to playing with the musicians I had played with, and that evidently did not you know, spawn too much versatility. So I came out here and I realized, like, oh, I kind of have limited skills, and that's what made me seek out the school. The Musicians Institute was in all the magazines I was reading in those days, and yeah, it just had a great reputation. And even though I was on this, you know, I grew up on the coast where Berkeley is, there was something about Los Angeles and the scene that just spoke to me, and that's kind of why I went to that school. I will admit, it is the best thing I ever did in my life. I enjoyed that time as an individual more than any in my life. My experience at BIT was just life-changing. It is, like I said before, it is one of the best things I've ever did for myself. The instructors there's like 11 or 12 per quarter that are, you know, on your schedule, and you know, not all of them are doing classes, some of them are doing workshops. But I love the entire group, and they just became family to me. I probably hung around Alexis Goreski and Dave Keefe and George Lopez the most. But at that time, Christopher Maloney was there, and he's awesome. And Jay Simper's great, and Greg Weiss, and Putter Smith. Putter Smith, wow, I'm not a jazz guy, but Putter Smith is the jazz guy. And just to hang around him and listen to him talk about, you know, how it's done, it didn't matter what music you were in, that was just so valuable. Another teacher that most of us that graduated from MI when he was there was Charles Schroeder, the keyboard guy. And regardless of what instrument you were on, if you went to MI and didn't get in Schroeder's class, then you didn't get your money's worth. And you still got a lot for your money, but if you didn't get to the Schroeder class, that was on you, because you missed out. So he was pretty special. But as far as the BIT teachers, yeah, wow, they're all great in their own way. Tom Witt, another one, just funky as all day, and just amazing player. Justin Purgis, that's there right now. We're colleagues and great friends, but he's a great bass player, and you know, we share things, and I still get a lot of things off of him. One of our panelists, Dave Keefe, is probably the one I hung around the most when I was at MI, and still do. And yeah, wow. I feel like I'm leaving somebody off the list, and if I did, I apologize. But yeah, everybody there has been a big part of my history, and still a big part of my family. It is an honor to be part of the bass faculty at Musicians Institute. And that was pretty special when it happened. I believe I started teaching in there right around 1999. how that came about, I think I was just in the right place at the right time, and I was the right person doing the right thing. And it was it just something that fell into place. I didn't fill out any papers or application. I was just asked to help out with teaching assistants, and I also oversaw the entire teaching assistant program, the TA program over there. And eventually after that, Alexa started assigning me a couple lessons and some workshops, and it just grew from there. And wow, what an amazing experience. And, you know, all those students that go in front of you, you realize after 20 years that there's thousands of students that you had something to do with in their professional development. And that, no, I don't know, that does something in my heart. I really feel proud of that. And all those students in the history of that school, they're, you know, their family to me as well. You know, thank God for social media, and we can all stay in touch, or at least keep an eye on each other, which is pretty amazing. But yeah, that is a honor I will always be holding in the highest regard. Amazing experience. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to play with a lot of really cool situations. A lot of them actually happened before I got to Musicians Institute. I had done a couple gigs with Zach Wilde for Gibson guitars, but that was because I was on the East Coast and he was going around doing music stores. And that, I remember feeling pretty high on that when that happened, because at the time he was just the guitar player and I got to play with that guy. So that was pretty cool. My very favorite musical situation that I've ever been in was going to Musicians Institute. That the camaraderie and the networking and the skills and the life lessons and everything that came from that is the most special musical memory I do keep. But as far as gigs go, the ones with the celebrities are really happening, but I am a people person and I love the brotherhood bands that I've been in. I'm currently in this band with a bunch of great friends called the Kings of '88, and you know, it's a lot of cover music and some originals in there, but great bunch of guys, and just a situation I look forward to practicing with and gigging with very much. The projects I'm working on right now, actually I've become a consultant with Fender, so I'm helping out them with their Fender Play app, and at least the curriculum end of that. So that's been very rewarding and fun. I am still waiting for gigs to come back. I am working also, and I've done some recording even over the pandemic quarantine with an artist named Halen, and we've done some videos and some recordings for his original material. And his brother Nick Morris is a country artist that I'm also doing some recordings for, and we'll be doing some shows with them as well. So that's very fun to look forward to. The Halen Chase has a video that's cycling around on YouTube right now. It's called Good Things, and you'll see me in that, and hopefully we'll be expanding on that a little bit more. And I'll keep Dale informed on that, and hopefully you guys can follow my links. I do teach music privately. I do have a couple students right now doing Zoom lessons, and also with the college I have a couple of lessons. It's very enjoyable to teach, you know, for a student that also works on it. If you do get that student that doesn't put anything into it, that becomes pretty fatiguing after a while. But I don't have that experience very often anymore. And yeah, if anybody's looking for lessons, if I have time, I'll definitely try to fit you into a schedule. So please reach out. The advice I would give to any bass player that was leaving a hometown area to move to a music city like Los Angeles is I advise you to do it. If that's in you and you feel like you need to at least test those waters out, follow your heart, follow your dream. I was a East Coaster, and I moved to the West Coast for music, and I had no idea what I was doing. It It was a gamble, and all I had was attitude and a desire not to fail, and the doors opened, and not immediately. I got to San Diego and bounced around between some people and played in some bands, but nothing really happened there. But that's what also sparked my interest in getting an education in music, and that took me to Los Angeles. Now, Los Angeles is a very artistic town, and they do freshen up. They do change out players and things like that just to keep things diverse, and I like that. I think there was some environments on the East Coast where you had to watch the obituaries to get a job, but Los Angeles seems to be a little bit more, they cycle through players, and that's a good thing. We all have steady gigs, and we have things that are temporary. So you get out here and you meet some people and you network, and you go to you go see live music, and you just start getting your foot in the door wherever you can and take whatever you can, and that's just how it starts. But I do recommend making that move and putting that energy of intention out there to help your career. The future plans that I have for my music career right now, the predominant one right now is I'm investigating furthering my education. Love being a music student, and there's been a lot of things that have evolved since I went to school last, and I am checking into some possibilities there. Outside of that, I am composing lessons and trying to put together some nice master classes, and looking forward to when my gigs start going again. And I do have some recording coming up on my calendar for Halen Chase, and that is exciting. And those are my future plans at this point. Words of advice to my bass family. I have words of gratitude. Actually, I want to thank Dale for including me in this Everything Bass group that meets every week to discuss or answer a question about being a bassist, or some point or concept of the thing that we do. And I am very, very, very proud to be a bass player and love it. And I love my tribe, and I am very thankful for you guys at all times. As far as advice, man, just make sure that it's always fun, and that you express yourself in a way that makes you feel good. Life is too short to go through it without feeling like that. So bass makes us feel like this, and live music makes us feel great, and I will do my best to bring you my best when we are back out on stage, or you guys are in my classroom. And I know that my colleagues on this panel are equally as giving, if not more. So thank you. And Dale, you've been a beautiful, beautiful ambassador for the low lives that we are. And thank you, man. You do a great job at Aguilar, and you do a great job with this, and yeah, you're a special man. So thank you from all of us, and I look forward to the next family portrait. Everybody do great. Keep it groovy. See you.